Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive healings, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe. Well, with that said, hello. Happy Friday. This is the September 11th, and my comments about that is that those of us who are alive for that time and saw it will never forget. But at the same time, there's a part of me that would like to forget it because every time I see pictures of those towers going down, I think of all the suffering and the pain and everything that people are still going through. So I honor those folks, but I'm going to honor them with silence versus trying to rehash it. So, anyway, to all those souls that were lost and from subsequent ailments and illnesses, I continue to pray that those souls will find a restful place. So, but anyway, that's my tribute to 9/11. Now, it seems like there's always something going on here at the farm, and it's not really a farm anymore. It's a, it's a it's a place down here on the edge of the woods. And so yesterday, I'm outside working on the foundation and the footing to try to get that porch finished after 2 year project. And I noticed that over by the window fan, and it's just a normal Lasco type 20-inch window fan, right? It's a box fan. And I got it on the outside of the house and just a piece of wire holding it up. It's really kind of jury rigged, but I'm a redneck, so there you go. But I'm out there looking around and I'm moving my tools and I'm leveling the ground and getting things set and moved and cleaned and ready to start trying to pour some cement soon. And I noticed that there's an oak snake, which I had seen in that area before. Hi, Delaney. Laying on the windowsill. Here's the fan, and laying on the windowsill is this oak snake. Now, it's not a very big oak snake, but it's, my first jump is, crap, there's a snake. Oh, it's an oak snake. And I knew it'd been hanging, or she had been hanging around that area for a while because I'd seen it before. And I don't discourage snakes. I just, like shoo away from the edge of the house so I don't step on you or something like that. And there is an oak snake that I swear to goodness is close to 8 feet. It looks like an anaconda. It is huge. Been living around this house forever. Now I got another one, and this one's been out in the chicken pen, and it's tried to eat an egg, and it's a little bit too small to eat a whole egg, but it tries, And so it's laying on the windowsill out there beside the box fan. And I say, well, the snake is in behind the fan. So I look down and crouch down and look, and the snake has put his head through the tiny little slats. Now, them slats are only about, like that, made out of plastic, the plastic guard that keeps you from putting your hand in the fan, right? He has stuck his head between those plastic slats and had his head up near the fan. And I thought to myself, now, it must have gotten really hot for him to stick his head in the fan. Well, and I thought, well, let me poke the snake, and the snake didn't back out. And I was like, come on, poke, poke, poke. And he laid there, and I thought, well, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, maybe if I poke this snake a couple of times. Now, this was yesterday evening. If I poke this snake enough times, it'll agitate him, and he'll back himself out of the situation. Nothing, right? So I look at it and I think about it. Then I look a little closer. Now the snake has put his head first through these two. Okay, let me use my fingers as like the slats in the fan. So he has come up like this and then done this thing and his head is actually up here, and he's went in, come back out, and back in again. So he's stuck. He can't get out. So I think about this, and I'm like, I'm gonna poke this snake. He can, the snake can can back himself out, right? So I got busy. There was a rain shower yesterday, and quite frankly, I forgot about the snake. So today, before a rain shower and all, I'm outside and making sure that things aren't sitting out before the rain comes and the big wind comes, and I move a chair and I look over there and the snake's still there. And I'm thinking to myself, that snake is in trouble. I mean, with all the little, now I didn't agitate it to the point where I pissed it off, but I'm tried to get it to free itself. Well, then I realized that this snake needs an intervention. And I'm like, what do I do? So in all the things that I've been around and so forth, with as a machinist and as an engineer and as a troubleshooter and just, you know, all around just think of weird ways that gets, anyway. So my first thought was I need a pair of side cutters. Now these are great big diagonal kind of cutters, and they're usually normally used just for cutting wire. Okay, and depending on how big the side cutters are, the bigger wire you can cut with them. So as an electrician and so forth and working around, I've got several pairs, right? So I think about this and I'm like, I'm going to have to cut out a section of this thing, right? Okay, so I went to the truck, found a pair of side cutters and a pair of tin snips. In case I can't get the wire cutters in, I can use a pair of these tin snips, right? Big metal scissors. So I go back over to the fan and undo it so I can get to the back of it. And this snake has obviously been stuck there a while. And I mean, it's like really in stress. And I'm like, well, now, an oak snake is gray and brownish. They're beautiful snakes. And it blends right in with the wall, and I'm like, but I'm having been working out there for the last several days on and off and in that corner, I thought maybe I would have noticed it. I'll pay a little bit more attention now. But anyway, so I get my little tin snips out and they're too fat. I can't get in there because the snake is in the way. So I grab my little side cutters and go in there and start gently snipping beside the snake on each side. And I get a little notch out. It's not big enough. So I move the snake over a little bit. Now he's wedged in this little thing, this tall by this, the slats in a plastic cover over a Lasco 20-inch fan. They're standard. He's stuck. So, but as soon as I got the other side cut off, it opened up enough of a space that he come out of that thing unglued and was like, phew, shot out backwards. And I was like, whoa. And then it curled up in the corner and started hissing at me. Now, it's an oak snake, but let me tell you, if you don't know your snakes, you would have swore that snake was venomous and was going to strike. It was pissed because it had been stuck in a fan for God knows how long. And I just happened to be the person to come along. So the first thing they want to do is, you left me in here all this time and didn't let me loose. And I'm thinking, I'm really sorry about this, honest. If I should have got the tin snips yesterday, shame on me. And that's probably why the snake was pissed off at me. But in retrospect, I should have went and got the side cutters yesterday. So shame on me for that, for a delayed reaction. But I honestly, yesterday, he'll get out, he got himself in there. And then I noticed, no, he ain't. So then the snake he flops down and then starts to go sideways up the wall. Now it's plywood on the outside, right, next to the window. And I'm thinking, the ground is only like this far away. Why is this snake trying to crawl up the window? And I noticed that the tail of this snake is down in this, and in hindsight, it's a bad design, my fault. And I'm going to change it. And that's part of the reason for fixing the porch. But anyway, I had this board as a corner where the electricity comes out from the inside of the house. It's a very poor joint. And one reason I want to fix this porch, it'll seal this up. But anyway, so I noticed that the snake's tail is down between the concrete and this board, right? So here's the fascia board and here's this snake's tail. and it's like wedged in the corner. And so I get the snake, and and I'm trying to tug the end of the snake out. He's wedged. Somehow has wedged himself, herself, itself between the wall, and there's a corner, and then the board came over it, and then the wire for my outside and for the pump comes out. It's a crappy job. It never was good. So, but I'm trying to alleviate that. Anyway, I'm making excuses for my shoddy work. I always knew I'd change it. It just took me 20 years to get here. Anyway, then it dawned on me, the snake has been in my house, because it's only like the height of a concrete block, 1.5 blocks. So it's 8 inches plus 4 inches. So, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's a foot from being inside. It had been in the house, was crawling out, and somehow got his tail wedged. And I think the snake went to the fan to try to pull himself loose from the house. Now, how he got, I see how he got in the house, but how he got himself wedged between the thing and the house, I don't know. But then I started thinking, my God, that's been right over there. I just caught a mouse over there. The snake's been coming in the house looking for food. And I would gladly let the snake have all these little mice that are running around here. And I'm wondering, well, what the hey? Now, so I had to go get my screw gun and unscrew the board from the wall, and which freed the snake, and zoom, that snake was, around the side of the house in a heartbeat. And I thought to myself, now, how long has that snake been in my house over there? How long has that snake been hunting over there in the corner? And that's the area I'm trying to clean out and move. And, I have been moving stuff out today, and the rain sort of slowed me down. It was just an excuse, but at least I can say it was an excuse. But anyway, so here, I never in all my life would have thought that I'd have seen a snake get caught in the grill of a fan. And I mean, his head was like just like a 1/4 inch from the fan going around and hitting it in the nose. So, oh, and the fact that it was probably in the house and was on its way out, and I'm thinking, well, my goodness, I should really fix that. Now I know I got snakes around the house. I had up against this wall right over here, which is the, well, you can't sort of really see, maybe. Duggar's down there on the floor. You can't really see, but this wall here, this is a window, and then it's all windows down that way in the dark. I don't know if I can shed any light on that. But anyway, laying down here on the floor, I'll quit moving around in a second. It was the biggest king snake I had ever seen. And I mean, an honest to God king snake. That thing, I held it up, and its head was next to my face. So that's about at least 5.5 feet. All right. And its tail went down across the floor and was about this much, at least a foot. So that king snake was at least 7 foot tall, 7 foot long. And then I went to check to make sure that what kind of snake it actually was. Now, I'd already picked it up and moved it out of there. It was laying all along the wall right here one winter, and because it's nice and warm in here. Now, how it got in here, that big of a snake, without me noticing the damn thing, but it was laying all across, and I thought to myself, now, I just chased it out of the house, and it wanted to come back in. And I thought to myself, now, why would I chase it? After I put it out of the house and went, shoo, go away, I thought, I should have left it there. Now, I know most people are going to go, you'd have left a snake in your house? Well, it's a king snake. They eat rattlesnakes kind of thing. I mean, they're like, if you want to be protected by something, in a king snake, holy crap, right? So then it was too late because off it went. But the king snake is still somewhere on this property. Haven't seen it, but their territory is usually fairly limited. Now, if food gets real scarce, they'll migrate to some other place. And if it was down in the swamp when the water come up, it could have ended up downstream somewhere. But anyway, but now the oak snakes, there's a family of oak snakes that have been living around this farm for 25 or 30 years. I mean, long time. And I see them I went out to the shed, behind the shed and the grapevines. There's a break and the trail goes down into the woods. Well, I was rounding that corner, and there was about a 6 foot, maybe even seven. I'm going to say 6 foot long oak snake, and a big heavy duty. This one was skinny and about 2.5 feet, maybe 3, but it got really thin towards the end. So, there's not much, but this snake was a good hefty 6 foot and looked like a snake. And it was just sitting in a tree, and its head was about this far away from the tree line. So I walked by, and it looked at me and just kind of followed me. And I stopped and went, what the? Sure enough, looked right in the eye. There was this big oak snake. I didn't bother him, look, and I noticed I was trying to measure, right? And I was like, well, there's a foot, there's a foot, there's a foot. Son of a gun, this thing is at least 6 foot. And I couldn't find its tail. It just kind of, went back behind. So anyway, but now there are folks, well, you have snakes there. What about rattlesnakes? What about moccasins? We killed a moccasin down the river years ago, like over 20 years ago. And I kind of hated killing the moccasin, but it was a real moccasin, and it's where we used to go, where our swimming hole was. And it's just like, no, sorry. But now there are a lot of brown water snakes down on the river. And it depends on the year and how many frogs and et cetera that they get to eat and all. But to have the oak snakes live around here, a lot of mice and so forth. So it's like, go ahead. And they eat some frogs. They don't like these little toads that are jumping around all the time. But anyway, so I thought to myself, snake. Now, a lot of people, at first it kind of creeped me out. And having that little bugger striking at me. And I mean, his mouth was about like that big, seriously. I mean, that's about how big his mouth was when it was open, but striking at you. But, they get this little toom, toom, and you don't, they're quick, so it's not like I wanted to pick him up or anything. Figured the poor devil had enough trouble getting his head stuck in the fan and his tail stuck in the, at the board, between the board and the, I can't think of what I'm trying to say, the molding thing anyway, on the outside. So it's like, So I decided that with that maybe there was something about snake, and so I'm going to pull out my card book and look up snake and read it, because it just seemed like the last 2 days it's kind of been like, here I am, pay attention, right? So, and the fact, I moved the dang book. Oh, hi, Teresa. Hi, Project Skyfalls. Michelle, Delaney, I think, yeah, there you are. He wanted to go. No, he did not want me to rub his belly. I'm telling you. It was like, I will strike at you, hiss, and I was like, no, you just go on. And not that I was afraid of him, but or that, he was menacing, but in that I just sort of like, well, just go on about your way, because I seen him over there by the windows before, slinking along, and I was thinking to myself, when was the last time I saw that snake over there? I don't know. It's been about a week or so ago. I was out filling up some water cans, some jugs. I didn't see him then. Of course, I'm always like, before I go, I always look around and go, is there anybody down there? I don't want to be touching them and them get scared. Hey, Max, how are you? And so, but with this, with the rabbit's head stuck in it, I mean, it was funny. I tried to get a picture, but you just couldn't see what it was. I mean, I could hardly see what it was. I really wanted a picture of it. Oh, snake is number 6. So it's right close in the book. All right, number 61, which is a 7. So, what did I say it was? 6. Yes, greetings, John. Skunk? Nope, here's snake. Snake, transmutation. Oh, and there's a lot of talk about that going on right now that we have received. Let me take my glasses off and look at y'all for a minute. There's a lot of information out there right now amongst the ET kind of folk, that we have just received and are in the middle of receiving some of this cosmic energy, and that it's supposed to seriously be changing us. And that by the time the equinox comes up here, about, is it the 22nd or 3rd? My birthday's on the 24th, so I'm an equinox baby, and so with it coming up, and I've been feeling like there's some just me personally, it just feels like, there's some changes coming. Yes, it's, that time of year. Yeah, I kind of always get this feeling because it's near my birthday, and my own transition, if you will, is to another year on this, being put out into this world. But I think, and I don't feel like it's Armageddon, although for the folks in California and Oregon and places where there are fires, man, I'm sure that most of you have seen, it was on Dutch Sense did it, several other people. Dante did a video last night today that shows the beams that were coming out of space somewhere and firing up fires in California. Now, there are folks, it's the Russians. No, it's not the Russians, but it's some folks up there that are trying to create as much havoc as possible. Because think about this, if times got bad, and folks had to, quote, live off the land, if they destroy the land and the critters, then if there's a power grid shortage or something, then what are you going to do? There's no way to live off the land. The land has been destroyed. So I'm like, that's an interesting thing to think about. And you got to admit, I mean, down here, we do a lot of controlled burning. So, and the Georgia Forestry Commission, landowners, at least once every other year, I burn my place, did a really good job this last spring, and just cleaned up a bunch of stuff. A lot of twigs and things that come out of pine trees, and when they're laying on the ground with 2 or 3 layers of pine needles. Now, most of the time, though, only the top layer of pine needles will burn because the pine sap is drained out of the pine needles, and the needles have turned more into a mulch, and it's actually kind of hard to burn this down past the first layer of pine, I've noticed. But anyway, but hot and go fast and be uncontrollable, and a little bit of wisp of air turn a little small grass fire into trees burning 20, 30 feet tall up into a tree. I've seen it happen in my own backyard and was like, whoa. I mean, just 1 minute everything's fine, and fire tornadoes, oh man, there's somewhere I got a little small clips of fire tornadoes, and I took pictures of them, and they're swirling and doing, and you could put your hand around them. They were so small, but they would be in the middle. What I'd do is I'd backlight. I'd start a fire that would burn this way and then this way, so it actually kind of burned towards the center versus out. So anyway, It's easier to contain the fire. But when it gets real hot in that center, there are these little fire tornadoes that come up and dance through the woods. It's amazing. But on a big scale, like out in California, I've seen them on a small scale in my backyard and went, I'm glad this thing ain't no bigger, And I see them out in California and I think to myself, oh my God, that's really hard. So we got to pray for those people. And as far as this transmutation is concerned, there are a lot of us who kind of sort of feel like we are in a transformation, if you will. In the cards that I've pulled recently, pulled butterfly. And butterfly, is an egg, and then it's a caterpillar, and then it's a pupae, chrysalis, and then it comes out to be a butterfly. So there's all these different stages of being, if you will. And so I think, as many of us do, that we are in a type of metamorphosis now for many of us, with trying to understand more about the universe and ourselves and where we as our spirits fit into this universe. And then with all this other things, I've seen a bunch of UFOs outside my window. And once I got to the point where they showed themselves to me and I realized, holy crap, they really are real, I quit worrying about whether or not they were real, because I'd seen them, and on a regular basis, chased one down into Florida on Christmas Eve like a dummy. But anyway, I followed that, wandering star. It was a great night to drive that night anyway. It was special. But anyway, then I came back and did a video. But the idea, though, that there is a lot more to this universe. Even Native Americans knew about the sky beings, and so it's like, I think we have come so far forward with technology that we forgot where our past is. We have forgotten. I am a Native American. Now people say, well, what does that mean? Does that mean you're an Indian? Well, partially, but that's not really what I mean. I thought about it when I filled out the census this last spring, and they were like, well, what are you? And I was like, I'm not Anglo anything, I don't think. I'm, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wait a minute. Let me think about this. I was born where? In America. I'm a native of America. So what does that make me? Native American. Now, I threw that in because I know that my great-grandmother, my great, and my grandmother, 3 grandmothers, were all of Cherokee descent. One was supposed to have been a full bleed. But in that, I'm thinking, we need to stop thinking about, well, yes, I've got, French background because of the Lees, and I've got this and that. But, okay, but that's history. But let me think about how long my ancestry's been here in America. I am a native to America. There you go. So I think we're going back to our roots despite the technology, because more folks are looking to other things and going, and seeing California burn, people are realizing it's not just homes and businesses, it's the woods, it's the and everything that lives there. Where are the squirrels? Where are the beneficial insects? Where are the frogs and the this and the that? Adios, out of there. So the whole ecosystem has been destroyed. I think we're in a transmutation type of mode right now. Mother Earth is dang near doing some changes. Dante has said that there's more to come between now and 2022. He's been warning many of us since 2017 about this time period between 2017 and 2022. And all of the things that I was asked to foretell and talk about is still in that time frame. I've told everybody, look, just hang on. We ain't done yet, But we live on a planet, in a solar system, in a universe with a lot of other beings. This is part of our wake up. Now, let me get to the snake. And I got to change glasses. These are too weak. The print's just a little too small. I greet you all tonight. Loretta, how are you? Truth in Me, good to see you. Let me see. I saw somebody else go by. Teresa, Max, of course. Cosmic Hugs, everybody. Project Skyfalls, Max, Teresa, Loretta. Okay, I think I got. Oh, and Delaney, if you're still back there in the background, it's cool. We love you. And anybody else that might be hanging out. Okay, so Snake. Let me wait. First, let me tell this story about Snake. I think it's important. Now, many of you have probably heard this story, but I don't think you heard the rest of the story. Now, there was a young brave that went on a vision quest. He was supposed to go to the mountain and live and do whatever it was. He was going on his own vision quest. When going up the mountain, he was headed up towards the snow line. As he was headed up the mountain, he found this snake, a rattlesnake. And the snake said, young brave, I have crawled too far and the weather has changed. I'm cold. Will you pick me up and take me down to the mountain where it's warmer? And the young brave said, but you are a snake. And he said, yes, but I'm cold. And so the young brave said, well, will you bite me? And he said, well, no, I won't bite you until we get down, take me down. I won't bite you. So the young brave thinks about it and he's like, okay, this is part of his vision quest, right? So he picks up the snake and puts him and cradles him and takes him down the mountain. Well, as he goes to take the snake and put him down on the ground, the snake bites him. And the young brave said, but you asked me to bring you down here, and I carried you down here and put you on the ground, and then you bit me. He said, why did you bite me? And the snake looked up and he said, because I'm a snake. Now that's supposed to be where the story ends. But in many Native American traditions, the young brave, he goes into a trance, if you will. He has his vision quest and essentially he dies. But when he is reborn, then as a member of the snake clan. So the snake in his gratitude bit him to invite him into the snake clan as a brother and also to give him visions. Now, the bad news was during the daytime, he was a snake. During the nighttime, when the sun went down, he reverted back to being a brave. So everyone in the village had wondered what happened to this young brave. No one ever saw him again. Now, out in the West especially, snakes live down in the ground, here in the South as well. Not near as many snakes as there used to be, but anyway. And they like to live in lofts in the barns too. I found two of them making sweet love in my shop one time. I went out there. There's video of that actually. If I could ever, I had a hard drive go down and all that video was on that hard drive. So back up your stuff. I might have it somewhere, but anyway. But so the idea though so then the young brave was taken into the snake clan and given high esteem. So the people in the village were always wondering whatever happened to the young brave. He was in his teens, 16 years old kind of thing, right? Well, a few years went by, and one of the young maidens from the same tribe was down by the water one evening, getting water, and to go back into camp. And on the other side of the stream, she sees this handsome young brave who she'd never seen before, and she felt like she knew him, right? So she immediately fell for this guy, and so she tried to follow him, and he just waved and disappeared into the forest. Well, during the daytime, she could never see hide nor hair. There was nothing there. So she would go back just at dusk every night to fill up the water containers, and sure enough, he appeared again. So finally, she, you know, after catching him there a couple of nights, um, she finally crossed the stream and went over and spoke to him. And he said, "Listen, I can only see you in the evenings here by this stream." So, you know, but he wouldn't explain why, but he said, I'm not able to see you during the daytime. So she accepted that. Well, as the months went on, they fell in, you know, they done lil and fub. Oh, they lil and fub so bad. Oh, I tell you something. So these two young ones are, you know, they he decides, she said, "Well, I want you to come into my village and meet my tribe." And he said, "You know, come meet my father and the chief and everything." And he said, "But I can't come during the daytime. But we're having a big celebration." He said, I can't come during the daytime, but I will be here tonight, you know, after sundown. And I will go to your ceremony and meet your family and friends then." They agreed. Everybody loved this young man. And so they were like, "Come hunt with us during the day and come hunt buffalo." And he had to decline and couldn't say why. So he felt kind of bad, and you know, told the young his young lady friend, "Listen, I need to go. You won't see me for a while." And she was very disappointed. And so he left that night after meeting everyone, and he went back to his own clan, and he spoke to his brother of the Snake Clan, and said, "You know, I have this beautiful woman, and part of me is still a human, but I became a member of the Snake Clan." And all the members of the clan said, "But you walk in both worlds. You can be with her during the nighttime, and you should be, because you are human. We, as the Snake Clan, do not want to hold that from you. And if you want, you can bring her without having to bite her. You can bring her to meet us as your Snake Clan members." So he thought about this, and after a couple of days, the elders were like, "You know, young man, don't be a fool. Go back and at least tell her and give her the chance to make the choice." So that next night, he went to the stream, and there she was. They met and hugged and kissed, and he said, "Okay, now sit down. I got something I got to tell you. You ain't gonna believe this shit, but hold, you know." So he told her the story, and she said, "But you're the young man then that went off up the mountain a few years ago." "Yes, I am." "And you've been with the Snake Clan all this time?" "Yes. And they would like to meet you if you would come and meet them. You'll be perfectly safe. I am a member." And so she did. She went and met the Snake Clan. That next day, he took her. She met by the stream, and there was this snake. And she followed him to the under a rock to a cave, and there all the other brothers and sisters and members of the Snake Clan and the elders were there. And he introduced his young lady friend to the Snake Clan. After which she was so impressed that he could walk between both worlds, that she accepted him as he was, as one who walked between both worlds. And by nighttime they were together as human, but during the daytime he would come and visit her as a snake, and she knew it was him, and so their love became so strong. So the rest of the story is so much more interesting than the brave picking up the snake and the snake biting him. There's so much more to the story of the snake and the brave. So now we consider now that, if you will, and for the snakes that have been around my house, and the one that I turned, you know, I cut loose from the front of that fan. Actually, it was the back of the fan. I'm thinking, you know, everything has its purpose. It's been hunting mice that have been like running nuts here this last couple of months, last couple of weeks anyway. I mean, run across my feet kind of thing, chasing one another. It's like, you know, Homer and Jethro in here having a pool, anyway. So the snakes can have them, and but if they're going to be in the house, I'd kind of like to know where they are. And I almost stepped on a frog last night that was hopping through eating bugs. So everything's got its place. Now, snake number 6, transmutation. Sorry for the long-winded story, but I think that needed to be said, in that, so in some traditions the snake is not some evil, wicked, mean, and bad and nasty that other religions are. Well, the serpent, it's the sign of the demon, it's a sign. No, it ain't. Just saying, it's only in certain areas that people are made to believe that. I mean, I've met some snake charmers, and no, I would not stick my hand in a basket full of rattlesnakes. I don't care what I say about my faith, I'm not stupid. Now, snake, come crawling. There's fire in your eyes. Bite me, excite me. I will learn to realize the poison transmuted brings eternal flame. Open me to heaven to heal me again. Snake medicine people are very rare. Their initiation involves experiencing and living through multiple snake bites. Now, I have been bit by snakes, plural, but all non venomous. And I really don't want to try it with another. But anyway, their initiation involves experiencing and living through multiple snake bites, which allows them to transmute all poisons, be they mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional. The power of snake medicine is the power of creation, for it embodies sexuality, psychic energy, alchemy, reproduction, and ascension or immortality. The transmutation of the life, death, rebirth cycle is exemplified by the shedding of the snake skin. It is the energy of wholeness, cosmic consciousness, and the ability to experience anything willingly and without resistance. It is the knowledge that all things are equal in creation, and that those things which might be experienced as poison can be eaten, ingested, integrated, and transmutated if one has the proper state of mind, sort of like eating magic mushrooms. Thoth the Atlantean, who later returned as Hermes and was the father of alchemy, used the symbology of two snakes intertwining around a sword to represent healing. Complete understanding and acceptance of the male and female within each organism creates a melding of the two into one, thereby producing divine energy. This medicine teaches you on a personal level that you are a universal being. Through accepting all aspects of your life, you can bring about the transmutation of the fire medicine. This fire energy, when functioning on the material plane, creates passion, desire, procreation, and physical vitality. On the emotional plane, it becomes ambition, creation, resolution, and dreams. On the mental plane, it becomes intellect, power, charisma, and leadership. When this snake energy reaches the spiritual plane, it becomes wisdom, understanding, wholeness, and connection to the Great Spirit. If you have chosen this symbol, there is a need within you to transmute some thought, action, or desire so that the wholeness may be achieved. This is heavy magic. But remember, magic is no more than a change in consciousness. Become the magician or the enchantress, transmute the energy, and accept the power of the fire. Now, personally, I would have not used magician or enchantress in this particular setting, but I understand what they mean, and I don't find it in that kind of. Um, I find those two words out of place in this book. Just saying. Now, the contrary of this. Now, I saw the snake laying sideways, and this was not a card. I'm just reading snake because it was here. If you have drawn this symbol in the reverse, you may have chosen to mask your ability to change. Look at the idea that you may fear changing your present state of affairs because this may entail a short passage into the discomfort zone. Does this discomfort keep you from assuming the viewpoint of the magician within? Is it the old is the old pattern safe, reliable, and a rut? Now, to me, that's exactly true. I have gotten myself into a tiny little rut here back in August, and I have been desperately, digging my way out. Slow, but I'm making progress. But so is the old pattern safe, reliable, and a rut? Well, yeah, I could just let it go. And no, in order to glide beyond that place, which has become safe but non-productive, and that's it. That's sort of where I was at. Well, it's okay for right now, and blah blah. No, 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 no. Become snake. Release the outer skin of your present identity. Move through the dream-like illusion, and I feel like I've been in an illusion here lately that has insisted on static continuity, and find a new rhythm as your body glides across the sands of consciousness, like a river winding its way toward the great waters of the sea. Immerse yourself in that water and know that the single droplet which you represent is being accepted by the whole. Feel snake's rhythm and you will dance freely, incorporating those transmutating forces of the universe as part of your sensual dance of power. Now, power is the power of within, right? Hey, Teresa, shedding skin. Um, Even if you're digging out with a caviar spoon, you're still making progress. That's right, Michelle. I just got off duty heading to Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, Nashville wasn't such a bad town. Be careful out there, my brother. I always send prayers to those folks out on the highway. And it's good that you're safe, seriously. Cosmic hugs and cheers and all that. Now, as how long have I been here? Almost an hour. So my next other thing I wanted to do, and I'll see how long it's going to take me. I have this other book, which is called Animal Speak, and I've showed it to you before, and it's called The Spiritual and Magical Power of Creatures Great and Small. Now, I wanted to look up snake and give sort of another version. That book is more as a card readings. This is more about, let's see, snake. Yeah, okay, 150. Oh, it's in several places. Okay, let's try 154 first. Almost got it right on the nose. There's no snake on 154. Okay, never mind. Next, talk amongst yourself there. Hi, Candy Apple. Did I miss anybody? Teresa, hi. Okay, parking, lot heating, getting creepy. If you're in the parking lot, yeah, okay. Let's see, snake, 349. Sometimes they will use the word snake in something and they'll reference it but it'll be with another animal versus all by itself. 349. The magic of the reptile world. So this is a chapter 16, and it's basically about reptiles in general. Let me see if I can find, let's see, 360 was snake in and of itself. There are a few lizards and stuff around here too, by the way. Yeah, snakes really do get a bad rap. They really do. I mean, if other people that I know, well, I've told people, I said, listen, there are snakes around my house. Ooh, and I go, just chill if you see one. If you're walking, I try to keep the, a pathway down, but I almost stepped on one out here in the middle of the field one day. It was crossing between two sets of trees. Dang near stepped on him. And I was like, what are you doing out here in the field? Get out of, So, but at the same time, I'm aware of them. I didn't hear him calling over there because his little snaky voice was not heard over the noise of the fan. But you know how you, as a kid, did you ever put your head near a fan and went blah 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 blah, did that noise and it makes your voice sound weird? Well, I couldn't hear the snake because that's what it sounded like. Anyway, snakes. Now this is the book Animal Speaks. Of all the reptiles, maybe even all the animals, the snake has been subject of great controversy and paradox. Just sort of what we were talking about, got a bad name. Religious sources argue over whether it is the symbol of the higher or the lower, sometimes seen as a devil and sometimes as a healer. It is an animal that truly has earned the mythical reputation. In the Americas, snake served as a prominent symbol in art and lore. To the Native Americans, the snake is a symbol of transformation and healing. That was in the other book. Snake ceremony involved learning to transmute the poisons within the body after being bitten multiple times. Like I said, I don't know if I could do that. Survival of this world would then enable the individuals to transmute all poisons, physical or otherwise. Remember the show Billy Jack, the movie back in the day? It activated the energy of kill or cure, ultimately leading to dramatic healings. In the Mesoamerican society, the serpent of the snake was depicted as feathered and flying. It was a symbol of their greatest god and hero, Quetzalcoatl. Story is the myth of a dying god who would someday return. In many ways, he was the patron god of the Toltecs, and it was said that the heavens and stars and all the motions of the universe were under its dominion. He has the master of the winds and of the clouds and the protecting genius of his people. In Greece, the snake was also a symbol of alchemy and healing. The god Hermes carried a staff upon which were entwined two snakes. This caduceus symbol is the primary symbol of modern medicine and doctors. It is a symbol of wisdom expressed through healing. In India, the goddess Vinata was the mother of snakes and a symbol of water and the underworld. Also in India, there were demigods, Nagas and their beautiful wives, Naginas, who were usually depicted as half cobra and half deity. The god Vishnu is often depicted sleeping on the serpent of eternity called Ananta. Shiva wears snakes for bracelets and necklaces representing sexuality, not demons. The serpent and the snake has long been a symbol of the sexual creative life force within humans, as is taught in Eastern traditions. The Kundalini, or or serpent fire lies coiled at the base of the spine. As we grow and develop, the primal energy is released, rising up the spine. This in turn activates energy centers in the body and the mind, opening new dimensions and levels of awareness, health, and creativity. In Chinese astrology, one of every 12 years is named for the snake. Those born within that year are believed to have the qualities of compassion, clairvoyance, and charm. So, people who talk about the snake, so the Chinese consider this like, oh, you're born in the snake. You have clairvoyance and charm and compassion. They usually need to learn a lesson associated with forgiveness, superstitiousness, and possessiveness as well. So folks born under the snake sign need to learn to forgive, stop being superstitious, and quit being possessive. A study of Chinese astrology will help you with this. In Egypt, the snake has also had mystical significance. The uraeus is a headband in the shape of the snake. The head of the snake rests and sticks out of the brow area. It was believed to represent a state of inner sight and control of the universe. It was a symbol worn by those who were initiated. Some believed it to be variations of the Eye of Horus, while others see it as the sacred Eye of Ra. It represented a certain degree of wisdom and understanding. Because it sheds its skin, the snake has long been a symbol of death and rebirth. It sheds its skin as it outgrows the old. This death and rebirth cycle is part of what snake represents. It has ties and significance to the ancient alchemist. There's symbolic transmutation of lead into gold. This is associated with higher wisdom that comes with the passing of time. This cycle of death and rebirth is often symbolized by the Ouroboros, the ancient image of a snake swallowing its own tail. It is the symbol of eternity. Before the snake begins to shed its skin, its eyes will begin to cloud over. It gives the snake a trance-like appearance. To many mystics and shamans, this indicated the ability of the snake to move between the realms of the living and the dead, of crossing over from life to death and then back to life again. As the skin begins to shed, the eyes begin to clear as if they will see the world anew. For this reason, alchemists often believed that wisdom and new knowledge would lead to death and rebirth, enabling the individual to see the world from an entirely new perspective. The snake has often been depicted along with its relatives, the serpent, the dragon, as a guardian. It is found in myth and lore, guarding treasures, the springs of life, and sacred places. Now, I had a medicine lady tell me years ago, she goes, oh, you have snakes around your house? And I go, yeah, I found one in the house and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh, well, then somebody must really like you. And I was like, why? She goes, well, you have snake medicine. Now, this has been 25 years ago, okay? I mean, a good while ago. Mid-90s kind of thing, at least. So 25 years, easy. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, she talk, I got snakes in my head. No, I got snakes in a fan, I was thinking about it all day today, like snakes on a plane, snakes in a boat, snakes on a train, snakes in my head, snakes in a fan. But it really did happen. I just couldn't get pictures to show it. But anyway, the snake and serpent guarded the tree on which the golden fleece hung in the Greek tale of Jason and the Argonauts. Now, let's reconsider the snake here in the Garden of Eden. Now, I bring this up myself without reading anything more, but if this is true and they're the guardian, so the serpent wasn't like what they said he was. He was guarding the tree of knowledge. So who's to say who did what? So did the snake try to convince Eve to eat the apple, or was the snake going, hey, bitch, get away? This God said don't eat these. Anyway, but to that point, So if all the other religions and everything consider the snake to be a healer and a this, in Christian religion, it's the devil. Think about that. I mean, because I've always wondered, what about this serpent thing? You know, but in reading this and seeing and being more aware now of things and reading this now, I look at that and go, them damn Christians, they've been trying to, keep us away from stuff and the venom and the pit and the viper, the viper in the Bible, the viper of the devil, will bite you and holy crap. But to the same token, though, there are some southern, well, I don't think they're just southern, but mostly they are southern snake handlers. Not as much as they used to be. But, they'd take a croaker sack, a burlap bag, into a church full of rattlesnakes, and basically turn them loose. It's like, if you get bit and you live, then you made it, But in that also, though, is that also in an odd way. Now, they took that just way totally different than what the Native Americans or other cultures would take a snake bite as, that there's mysticism in the venom, Anyway, I've just have seen some of these Christian snake handlers, and there's some strange folk. Just saying. Not near as strange as these other, Okay. Snake is sinuous and fast. Yeah, when I turned him loose, he was gone. Although many people think of them as slimy, they're not. Their skin is very dry. In fact, humans are slimier than snakes. That's the truth. If a human runs his or her hair on the floor, it will pick up dirt. A snake's skin will not, which is why it is able to slide and move in the manner that it does. The snake attacks quickly. It raises itself up and strikes quick, hard, and true to its mark. It is not unusual to find that those with this totem can respond the same way if need be. It is best not to anger snake people. Snap! Although slow to lose their tempers, once lost, their bite is quick, sharp, and direct. They almost always hit their mark. They may end up swallowing you whole or just poisoning you in some way. Anytime a snake shows up as a totem, you can expect death and rebirth to occur in some area of your life. Well, I'm personally kind of going through that now. It's the death of a bunch of crap that I collected and that I thought I could use, and now it's the rebirth by getting rid of it, etc. So I see it. And my eyes are getting more clear as I get the clouds out of the way. Although slow to, anytime a snake shows up, you can expect a death and rebirth to occur in some area in your life. This rarely reflects as an actual death, but rather a transition. So that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm in the transition. Look for change in conditions and a movement to new life. Example, what is going on around you? Are you needing to make changes but aren't for some reason? Yeah. Are you trying to force change too quickly? No, not me. Are you striking out at people and shouldn't? No. Are you not striking out and should? Maybe. Remember that a snake not only uses its venom and bite to overcome prey, but also for defense. What is needing to be healed? What new opportunities are surfacing that you need to strike out for and take advantage of? Well, now that's different. For me, it's always, when the season of autumn comes around, fall's coming. I say it's my birthday, but it's more of a point in that it's the first day of fall or the second, depending. So, it's my time of the year. It has nothing really to do with my birth date, I don't think. Only in that I can feel it coming anyway. And it's not about, buy me a present, I'll be 68, nah. Come, let's go kayaking, though. That offer's still up, y'all. Remember that a snake Not only uses its venom and bite to overcome prey, but also for defense. Um, what is needing to be healed? So think about that. I think each one of us has a little something in our life because of the turmoil and the chaos and the craziness that we can, we are all going through a change. These next 2 months are going to, well, between now and January, oh my goodness, there's going to be some craziness. Just be aware and hang on. Get a little bit of extra food just in case these people try to do something even crazier than burn down California and Oregon, and they're working on Washington. It can also reflect that your own creative forces are awakening. The stimulation of the Kundalini usually has psychological as well as spiritual consequences. Psychologically, it can activate the sexual drive, bring more energy, etc. Spiritually, it can stimulate greater perception of how to apply your insight and intuition. Now, that's what I'm working on. Your own vision and intuition will become more accurate. I don't want it to be any more accurate. When it's really accurate, it creeps me out. But anyway, to understand the specific role your snake totem will play within your life, first begin by examining the form that it takes. This alone will tell you much. Every snake has a head, body, and tail, and there are a wide variety of snakes. Some are poisonous, almost all can bite, and some squeeze and strangle their prey by coiling around it. Examine your snake's markings and the pattern of its scales. A diamondback rattler is named for its pattern of scales. Examine the significance of the geometric shapes. Now, I hadn't thought about that, and oak snakes are beautiful. I'll have to check that out. This will help you to define the role the snake will have in your life. The rattlesnake, for example, moves around only during the cool hours of the night. Extreme heat is deadly to it. You may find for yourself that becoming a more nocturnal would be of benefit. It has a sidewinding motion to its movement. It also has a special sense organ, a small pit in the head that reacts to heat put out by other creatures. This is how it senses its prey. On a symbolic level, this indicates for those with this totem an increasing sensitivity to the auras of others. I see that. You may start seeing them soon, but you will definitely start sensing them. Now, ever since I did that that meditation online with y'all, there's been a change. And I've talked about it before, and I hadn't brought it back up, but I can feel y'all out there. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I can tell y'all are out there. You may start seeing them soon, but you will definitely start sensing them. Trust what you feel around others, no matter how strange it may seem. And it's been a little odd. Always examine some of the qualities and characteristics of the snake in general. Snakes are carnivorous. They swallow their prey whole. To be able to do this, they got to unhinge their jaws will unhinge. The mouth is where we take in nutrition in the form of food. This unhinging ability of the snake reflects the increased ability for those with this totem to swallow and absorb greater amounts of nutrition. For the head, i.e., knowledge, learning opportunities, formal and informal, will surface frequently, usually with the snake totem. There is a little chance of overloading the brain circuits. You will be able to swallow and digest whatever you take in. Some people have associated hypnotic qualities with the snake because of its stare. The unblinking stare occurs because the snake has no eyelids. Learning to use the eyes to mesmerize and look into the hearts and souls of others directly is part of what traditional snake medicine can teach. It may even indicate a need to look more closely into your own heart and soul. Snakes have a keen sense of smell. They actually smell with their tongue, which is why it flicks it in and out so much. Inside of the mouth of the snake, the roof is an organ called the Jacobson's organ. This organ enables the snake to assimilate the air around them. This organ helps them to taste the air and its odors, helping them to locate food sources. The sense of smell is linked to higher forms of discrimination and spiritual idealism. Individuals with the snake totem will find themselves extremely sensitive to smells and fragrances. Aromatherapy may be a form of healing that is beneficial to explore. They should pay attention to what is going on around them. Do things really smell right around you? And spiritually, do they smell right? Like something's rotten in the state of Denmark, you know? Make sure that you are discriminating about what you say and to whom. So, if you're around somebody and you go, oh, ooh, what's that smell? That smell of death, or, don't go there. And with what you involve yourself. So be careful what you say and to whom, and with what you involve yourself. Snakes are symbols of change and healing. They have speed and agility. To those who have snakes come into their life will usually find the changes and shifts occur quickly and are soon recognized and defined. When snake comes into your life, you can look for a rebirth into new powers of creativity and wisdom. Yeah, I saw a dragonfly today too. So there's snake for you, And the fact that I had to get one out of the fan, maybe and it took me 2 days. And so there was patience in there. And I'm looking at this going, animals just don't usually hang themselves up and require your assistance, So after the little snake incident thing this afternoon, which has not freaked me out by any means, but it has given me pause to thought. So after reading this about snake and so forth, I'm trying to finish the porch, for goodness sake, which is something I'm trying to be creative. And I let it slide here recently. It's the mosquitoes. It's the heat. I was making up excuses just because. And I realized that I'd come to the realization that I was part of my own, well, it's too hot. Good excuse. And it really was, but to the point, yeah, I could have done a little more. I could have done a little more. That's just my own answer. So, but in looking at this, I'm not going to beat myself up for what I didn't do because it really was hot. I'm looking forward to making more progress with better change. And the weather is a lot cooler now. It's a whole 10 degrees cooler, although the humidity is right up there down here right now. So, the temperature might say it's 78 degrees, but it feels like it's 90 by the humidity. But anyway, not complaining. We had some more rain today. And didn't flood anything out, but it was a really nice, good rain shower. There was thunder to put some nitrogen in the air, and and it cooled everything down. So looking forward to that. We got some more tomorrow and the next day. Anyway, but with snakes, but laying there and seeing it the last couple of days, and then it being stuck in the fan, I was just like, did he stick himself in the fan on purpose? I mean, I don't know how long he's been in there, and how long he's been hunting for mice in my house over there in the corner. Oh, holy crap! Somehow my awareness of stuff has been a little lagging. You know what I'm talking about there, Slim? So, but anyway, I thought there was also a message in that, and reading the card and so, and I wouldn't read the card before it come on. But I meditated. I thought about it before I got here. And thought, there's something in here, surely. But the death and rebirth. So, and summer's coming up and there's a lot of death coming on, meaning, the plants are changing and this and that, the leaves are coming off the trees and so forth. So it's fall. So it fits right in that respect that this is the end of summer coming into fall and the transition into winter. So, it all fits for me. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, what y'all got to say? Delaney says, I barely blink in my vids. This is great. Mine, the dragonfly is my totem. That's a good dragonfly project. Yeah, I have dragonflies that like, they land out here on the wire and they fly around. Yeah. And I don't really have that much water nearby. So, but the fact that they're around, I absolutely do feel blessed in the fact him and the Angels planned that. He bitched about it too. Did I miss something? Hey, Fox, how are you? Loretta? Yeah, a lot of transformations are happening right now. Absolutely. And to after having said this and read about the snake and the transition and life, death, rebirth, which in a way is sort of like butterfly. I mean, they go from a caterpillar. We can in my book, yes, it was an egg, but it became a caterpillar. So it's not like it became something else and then went to be a caterpillar. No, it was a caterpillar egg, and that's what it became. And if there was an egg and it turned into the chicken, you go, well, it was an egg first. Yeah, but it was a chicken egg. It wasn't a turkey egg or an alligator's egg. But anyway, so but considering the egg and then the caterpillar and then okay. But I consider it 3 stages versus 4 is my point in this. But still, it's the transformation, the transmutation, the big change. And I've been finding on the wall right outside the door, I looked over and I saw this cicada stuck to the wall where he had crawled up there on the side of the wall and crawled out of his skin and flew away. And I was like, what? There's a couple of them around that I've noticed. And usually they all do it about the same time of year. And now I'm finding one over here and one on this tree over there. And I'm like, where in the hell did these things come from? And where did they go? Just curious. But seeing all these carcasses, and they're pretty big carcasses of the cicadas that come out. If it's still on this hard drive, I have a short little video of a cicada coming out of its shell and opening up its wings. I videotaped the thing one evening when it was doing it. It was amazing. The colors that was in that cicada and the wings as it unfolded. It was amazing to watch. I've taken some interesting videos of stuff, and for one reason or another, computers have gotten hit by lightning. And if I could recover the things that I've lost that I could show you folks, it would be amazing. Simply amazing. So, in looking at all the changes that are going on, I know that this time frame, 2019, 2020, 2021, in my vision years ago, showed that there was going to be a fires like it's going on in California, and storms. I mean, for those of you who know who Dante is, he did a video today, and it's like the world, the peace, Greenpeace, you call them green piss. The Greenpeace folks talking about the world, the worst fires. Greenpeace now. Oh, in Russia and Siberia and over here and there. Not a word about the fires in the United States. There's all these worldwide Greenpeace now. Not a word about California and Oregon and other states. Nothing. But now Siberia is burning, and that's true. And other places are on fire. That's true. But Greenpeace, not a word about the burning of America. Now, we all got to say, listen here now. There are those folks who understand there is a bigger war going on. Like, for example, now, for those of you who listen to Dante, and I'm just not going to go into trying to explain that, go find DSAHK. But in the video a couple of weeks ago when the bombing when Beirut blew up, he talked about the Rothschilds, and I didn't know that the Rothschilds had a bunch of stuff in Lebanon, in Beirut, like the Bank of Rothschild and stuff like that. After that bombing took place, they found all kinds of underground tunnels and stuff, and it's like, whoa. Now to top it off, today, within the last day or so, fires broke out in the same area. Now I looked at some of the video, and whatever is down there has got to be some kind of oil base, some kind of nasty something to get that dark smoke. Because, wood and other things, everything has got its own color of smoke, if you will, And so the black smoke like that indicates some really nasty oil or something, right? Now, I watched it burn and burn and burn and burn and burn. Now, I've set fires around here in my house using diesel fuel and gasoline, which you should never use, even a little bit, because the fumes, man, poof, it literally will blow up. But, diesel fuel, which is a common fire starter down here in the South, and kerosene for me, because it's will burn a long time. But the thing is, if you pour a little kerosene on the ground and set it on fire, it's only going to burn for a little bit. You could pour a whole gallon in one spot and set it on fire, and the ground will act like a wick, and it will burn on top, and this nasty black smoke, coal oil. But the thing is, it will go out. So after watching this stuff burn, I'm like, what the hell is burning? I mean, just there's a bunch of something, and it was, RT had a camera on it, and it burned and it burned, and I skipped ahead, and it was still burning, and I skipped ahead. It was still burning, and I skipped ahead, but there was nothing on top of the ground. It was burning from underneath. There's steel and concrete, and something is burning. Now, steel and concrete don't burn. They will melt or crack and fall apart, but they don't burn. So I'm looking at this going, what is it? So I'm thinking, well, there was something else down there that the first explosion didn't take care of, that they had to set the rest of that shit on fire for whatever the reason. But whatever it is, I don't know if it's still burning, but you got to stop and think, what will burn that long and that black of a smoke? Diesel fuel, oil, something really nasty bad. Don't have a clue what it is, but something's up. Just saying, that's not normal. Seeing the part of the transition and the transmutation, it's the changing of things. People are becoming aware, going, what's going on here? So I'm bringing this to your attention, because this is part of the changes that I see, as the skin's getting lifted off of the, and it's being shown in other places too. But it's not just the California that's burning, by the way. There are fires in Siberia and Russia. People want to blame California on the Russians and the satellites. Now, I would agree that some of these things are coming from outer space, but it ain't us. There are the bad guys that are looking to destroy all of our infrastructure. If people get hungry and they have to run to the woods, there's no woods to run to. I mean, you just think about it. Agenda 21 is, so you want to get rid of the people, get rid of the habitat first. The food source or whatever, get rid of their habitat first. So what are they doing? It ain't the Russians. The Russians have got their own damn problems. So for those of you out there, it's the damn Russians. It's the Russians. It's the Russians. Maybe the Chinese, but the Chinese have got their own problems too. What good does it do the Chinese who are living in California to burn the state down? It makes no sense. So for all these people, it's the Chinese or it's the Russians, It's neither one of them, y'all. It's some other factors up there. And those are the evil sons of bitches we need to be worried about, more so than some of these other clowns. Today being, well, it's not 9/11 anymore, but the store is closed. Oh, I went to the store a couple of years ago on 9/11 and took my little Sasha dog with me. And we stopped at the garbage dump to get rid of some stuff, and she got run over and killed. And so every time 9/11 comes, I remember my little Sasha, the wonder dog. And I think about the times that she literally saved my life. She swam through the swamps to reaches. I mean, this little puppy dog was like this tall, and a little poodle dog, right? Would used to run with a full-grown wolf and just jump and play and swim, and just unbelievable. If I could find those little video clips, oh my goodness, this little Sasha dog, with this full-grown wolf. Anyway, Sierra was the name of the wolf. But anyway, so I think about 9/11, and I think about my little Sasha dog. And today there's Duggar over here. We went outside and played ball a little bit. He needs to go back out. But we're trying to make friends with the cats that have been living here for years. And every time he goes out the back door, he bolts for the cats. And I'm trying to stop him like, nah. He still gets a little chasing every now and then. But today I actually was petting the cats while he was outside in the yard. So it's only been like 4 or 5 months now. So, but it's time he learns that every time he goes outside, it's not a cat chase. And that these are my friends too. So, but after they've smacked him in the nose a few times, transition. But everything's learning. I mean, there's just something in the air other than blundering idiots farting in the wind. That if there is a change coming, fall's coming, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But we'll see in the next 2 weeks. I've got some things in the back of my head. Mary Wynn sent me a thing and said, the first 6 minutes of that video that I did, about the blunder games. I got a couple more editions coming on that subject. I got little song tunes that are running around in my head. So, but been trying to get some of these other things took care of. And I got concrete sitting out there that if it gets wet, it's just going to be a big rock. And I've got several big rocks because the bags have gotten wet. And it's time for me to pour some concrete. Anyway, so but I wanted to get on here and talk about this a little bit and talk about the snake. And it really did happen. I really did free that snake from the fan. That was one of the most interesting things I think I've ever done. Crows and hummingbirds and hawks. Nice doggy name, but love Duggar. Rudder, what animal do you see all the time? Who, me? Or you're talking amongst yourself, ain't you? Yeah. Just had the best. Was the only chance to strike at such a chaotic, desolate enemy, a kind of opponent that doesn't even care about the things like rules of engagement. Mater are freaking evil. And the Vlash too, Fox, I absolutely agree. Between the two of them and some of their, quote, friends, they're no good nicks, And that, we see some of these things over here, but some of this stuff's been going on over there in the Ukraine and over there in France and Italy. And man, we ain't Turkey. Boy, we don't see some of the things that are going on globally as far as the UFOs fighting amongst each other. Just saying, but watching, I've seen the beams on the radar before, and there was a beam that was headed towards us, and all of a sudden there was a storm that came up. And it was an amazing amount of wind coming with the storm. So the storm was coming from that direction, but all the air and the wind came from the west. It came from the opposite direction and blew everything across the yard. And then the storm hit and blew everything back this way. This was this evening earlier. And it was like, that was weird. I mean, it blew from the west. I mean, just whoosh, taking stuff across the yard and then turned right back around and came the other direction with the rain. And I mean, just like less than a minute later, the rain was there and raining hard. But anyway, but yes, Fox, I absolutely agree. The Vlash and the Mater and their nasty friends. So I know there are folks out there going, what the hell are they talking about? Well, two sets of, one of them, just go back and think about the TV series called V. Think about it. And some of that was more true than not. So you think, oh, it was just a science fiction based on some fact, maybe? To where these beings could open their throat and eat somebody and transform and have this, yeah. Now, I ain't talking so much about the Queen and David Icke and all that, but there are beings out there that can make us believe that they look like something else. You ever seen the video clips in the movies and stuff about camouflage and octopus, for example? The diver goes up to this rock, and all of a sudden this octopus, appears and goes off, and you go, what? Or in the octopus slides across the sand and stops somewhere and disappears right before your eyes, and you go, what? So think about that. Are there critters that can do that? Yes. Think about a lizard, a chameleon. They can be green or they can turn brown, and I've seen them around the house, and if a cat's trying to get to them and they're nice and green on a leaf, the cats don't see them. If they're brown and on a leaf, they're fair beat. So we think, well, no, this stuff doesn't exist in nature. Oh, yes, it does. So what animals can't camouflage themselves in such a way that we wouldn't know them. Well, octopus do it all the time, or octopi, plural, or anyway, you know what I mean. So this idea, though, that we're the only beings and we're the only ones, snakes transition. They lose their whole skin and become a whole new snake again. Butterflies start out as little caterpillars and then a cocoon and then, so there is this, the cicada. They're a bug that crawls around on the ground and in the ground. Then all of a sudden they crawl up somewhere on a tree or the house or something and turn into this fly. And when they come out, they're translucent and their wings, oh my God, they're like dragonflies' wings when they first emerge. I don't know where they go or what they do, but they're gone. And so you see them or you see their carcass and they go, well, no, wait a minute. I would have seen that. It's right by the damn door. When did he show up? When did he transform? And when did he leave his skin behind? So, but anyway. For you and me, it's going to be interesting to see what some of these ET folk have been talking about for a long time about this transition and sort of a transmutation. A lot of people are discussing fifth dimension. Remember this, my dear friends, I love you. We can't go to the fifth dimension without being in the fourth. We cannot skip a grade. So could we peak at the fifth? We're not even sure of what we see in the fourth. So how can we imagine what's in the fifth or any dimension beyond that when we aren't even sure what's in the fourth dimension yet? So folks who are peeking into the fifth dimension, in my humble opinion, are just seeing higher levels of fourth. We've got to go through fourth before we can see fifth. We got to complete the third before we can see the fourth. And not everybody can see the fourth dimension. Not everybody can have. So this idea that, oh, we're all going to look at the fifth and sixth dimensions, slow it down, pull that little, pull your train backwards a little bit. Don't get confused, you know. Ooh, yes, we are going into higher dimensions. Yes, we are learning more, but we can't skip a grade. So this fifth dimension, sixth dimension, ninth dimension stuff, it's just talk. Because one of the things that shamans discuss is when you learn about another dimension, it's very difficult to describe it to someone else. If for those of you who have astral projected or have had an out of body experience, my friend Randy, who was in a coma for 2 months, who came back, he said, David, he said, I've been to the other side. And I said, I know. And he goes, the devil took a look at me and said, you're too ornery. You ain't coming down here. And the good Lord said, you're not done yet, and sent me back. That's what he told me the other day on the phone. And I'm thinking to myself, he's been in a coma for 2 months. No brain activity. Twice they were going to unplug him, and his daughter said, no, you don't. And they saved him. He's alert and is having physical therapy. Now, I'm assuming he's okay. I spoke to him about 5 or 6 days ago. But in my heart, I know he's still around. But the thing is, though, when you walk between the worlds, you get a glimpse of what the fourth dimension is like. But so for folks who have never experienced that, and they talk about the fourth and fifth dimensions, they haven't experienced enough of the lower levels of fourth to even comprehend what fifth is like. Okay. And I'm not trying to talk down on anyone, I swear to God. But what they're feeling, I think, is misinformation from the universe in that, ooh, this is what the fifth dimension is like. Hang on, just calm down. You are seeing higher dimensions. Yes, I agree with you. But my point is, I think you're just seeing the fourth dimension really good. And you're extrapolating and, ooh, this must be the fifth. Nah, sorry. Back up. You know, I've meditated on this. The angels are telling me right now, this is a warning to everybody. Don't push so far ahead that you miss what's right in front of you, you know? And that we can't skip a grade. That they keep just pounding that in my head. You can't skip a grade. Okay, we got it. But we love you anyway, you know? And let's see. If you don't look down the road, then there's nothing to look forward to. When I was out in Nevada on the way to Las Vegas, I drove a good way from Reno down to Las Vegas, and we were probably 50 miles from Las Vegas. But on the map, it just looked like it was just like that far. But that far is like 100 miles on the map. So in looking at it, and we could see it off in the distance. And we kept driving, and I was driving. My brother took a nap, and I'm driving through, you know, at nighttime, you know, going into Las Vegas from Reno, down that highway, whatever it is, through the desert and everything. And 2 hours later, we still had not reached the outskirts of Las Vegas. It was still in the distance. And we drove some more. And about 4 hours later, we hit Las Vegas. So the idea, you see it on the horizon, but it's not you're not necessarily there yet. You know what I mean? But if you see it in the distance, at least you have a goal to reach. So I'm not trying to, you know, tell anybody, look, don't think about the fifth dimension or that. Just understand it may not be what you think. Okay. Because have you really truly mastered fourth dimension yet? And the answer is simply no, because you're still here. You still haven't seen other. Now, there are many people, Miss Delaney and some other folks. I have some friends of mine who have been seeing these creatures and critters for a while now. I can sense them. I can feel their presence. Some of them have even allowed me to take pictures of them. And I've in some of my older videos where I could share some of the orb pictures and stuff, all those pictures are real and they were right in front of me. And, so the idea that these beings are still there and that they are around us, and some of them aren't good, and some of them are very good, and some of them are just nasty as hell. And then there are the critters that are being brought here by other entities because of the big war that's going on for this planet. The next 2 years is going to be the make it or break it for this planet. And we need not give up on our goal. Our goal is to become higher spiritual beings. But remember, well, we're going to be in the fifth dimension. Be happy with fourth. Be tickled to death about fourth dimension, because then we're going to learn about fifth dimension. It's sort of like you're in grade school and you say, man, when you get to college, you can really go into this stuff. So in grade school, you go, ooh, I'm going to learn all this, but you don't go straight to college. Now, there are those individuals who are lucky enough or smart enough. They skip a bunch of grades and off to college they go. Doogie Howser, okay? But the idea, though, that most of us, we got, I had trouble in 11th grade, so hang on. We need to go through all the grades and experience them and feel what it's like. And then we'll get a really good glimpse of what college looks like, meaning the fifth dimension, the next higher level up. So, but anyway, my friends, I love you. I do. I've been at this for almost 2 hours. I can't believe it. Here I go again, trying to think I'm going to do a short. Teresa says, one can astral travel, but returns. We don't stay in higher dimensions until ready. Yep, absolutely. Hit the like button. Thank you, Teresa. Fox, you're just not thinking fourth dimensionally, Marty. Who's Marty? My body keeps buzzing in my sleep. I'm going somewhere, but can't remember when I wake up. I agree, Loretta. Now, I got to say this much about some of the Delaney says, damn right, I got a playlist of the lizard-eyed government. I got vids of me shifting in Zulu. I'm a six-fingered Zulu. Fox says, yeah, that explosion in Beirut to even get at the Mater. What? Oh, I had it and then it went by. Fox says, I figured that when Dante was talking about the Mater, I would guess that the explosion was, however horrible the collateral damage and innocent, it was the only chance to strike. Yeah, and the only chance to free the other people that were stuck underground because they didn't even know that they were there, but some other things too. Sometimes you just got to be something. Yeah. Fox, it was the only chance to strike at a chaotic and desolate enemy, a kind of opportunity that doesn't even care about the things like rules of engagement. Right. They don't care. These folks do not care. Truth in Me says, sometimes these animals move with us wherever we go. That's true. And you can always take the animal spirit with you. The church is getting rid of all the info. They have been hoarding this stuff for decades and have been lying to all of us. Yep. Oh, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, I kind of think. Fox says, yeah, that explosion in Beirut to get even at the Mater, rest in peace, sadly, a necessary sacrifice. Yeah, and I can't begin to understand what's burning underneath now. I mean, I'm just saying, it should not be burning the way it is. Pull a card tonight. Yes, I heard you early, and yes, I will. I'll pull a card. Yep, I'm going to shuffle. I heard you, Teresa. See, and that's for me. It's like before I couldn't hear you all as clearly as I hear you now. And I'm, this idea of calling the psychic hotline or something and people connecting with you and being able to tell you things and stuff. I know I've known people who could do that type of thing. And, it's a little creepy and weird and that kind of stuff. Marty is a Back to the Future reference. Oh, I got you. I'm with you. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. Maybe I should watch it again. Okay, I've got the deck and I'm shuffling and trying to feel what. There's some folks out there that want me to pull a certain card. But ever since the meditation, and I think it's about time to do another one, a drum and a meditation. Fox says, we can't forget that this is still a war, but it doesn't sadden me. In fact, I know we can win. Don't lose hope, guys. Just keep manifesting more love. Yes, keep the faith. Yes. Oh, that's what I was going to bring up, and I'm going to do a separate video on it because of the visions and so forth that I had with Mother Mary, and in talking about one that I don't mention this much, but when the last time Mary appeared, she appeared with Sister Helene, and I have not mentioned this but once or twice maybe, Sister Lucia, the girl from Fatima, who became a nun and all that. Now, I find it interesting that with all of this transition and all of this stuff going on now, the movie Fatima is coming out now. Now, for those of us who have had a Mother Mary type of experience, years ago, it was plainly said, she said, say the rosary once a day for me, meaning that the Mother Earth, the mother of the universe, the representation, versus the warlike generals and so forth. And so the fact that they're coming out with this movie, Fatima, at this particular time. Now, they put movies out and stuff and program us and all. And they just started showing the trailers, right, on the commercials. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. Now, just curious, but now they're showing this about this girl, about, it just interesting, gotta say. That's for another discussion. But I just wanted to bring it up to you while we're here and among friends and all. And, let's see. There's a card down here at the bottom. I'm holding the cards and it somewhere. I got like 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I miscounted. There'll be 8 cards left when I'm done picking one. And one of them seems to be the possum. Heads up, 23, the possum. And the one below it is the bat. So I'm going to do 2 cards since we're here and y'all are hanging out. And I pretty much have said what I needed to say about snake. This is card reading at an hour and 48 minutes. And number 23, possum. The opossum. 23. See, what I mean by the Fatima thing and everything, I don't know what the timing is about this, but through all the years and all the times, I mean, there's been ample time for somebody to come up with a movie about Fatima, right? I mean, there's the Passion of the Christ and the this and the that and Dracula's and but now I'm just wondering. Just I don't have a clue. I don't have any inside information except that there's a bigger picture. Let's keep an eye on that. Opossum diversion. Opossum roll over. Are you really dead or just playing possum? Was it something I said? Opossum's greatest form of protection is to play dead. In doing so, the opossum confuses many a predator into believing that the game is over. Oftentimes, the confused rival walks away or looks the other direction for a moment, and the opossum runs to safety. That's true. I've had issues with possums eating my chickens as well as the eggs. Opossum medicine uses a great deal of strategy. If all else fails, opossum plays dead. It has the ability to fight with its claws and teeth. Oh, yeah. But it rarely uses this form of protection. Instead, the supreme strategy of diversion is constantly employed when things get a little too hard to handle. Opossum has developed an act that would receive an Academy Award in the animal kingdom. The musk of the death scent is excreted as well. Oh, that's why they smell so funky when you mess with them. Adding to the master play that sends enemies on many trails of confusion. If a possum has turned up in your cards, you are being asked to use strategy in some present situation. To use strategy. Here's the key word, strategy. So when looking forward to whatever's going on, we need to use some strategy. Keep that in mind. Rely upon your instincts for the best way out of a tight corner. We're all fixing to be in a tight corner if things go south. You have to pretend to be apathetic or unafraid to do it. You have to pretend to be apathetic or unafraid to do it. In other words, oh, well, it's okay. So what? When inside you're keeping an eye on what's going on. If you have to pretend, then do it. Oftentimes, if you refuse to struggle or show that hurtful words bother you, your taunter will see no further fun in the game. In other words, sticks and stones. And if you don't cry or whimper and you just go, okay. Warriors have used opossum medicine for centuries, playing dead when the enemy nears and outnumbers them. Then in a flash, when the enemy is least expecting it, the war cry is heard. The fright of this serves to further confuse the unsuspecting opposition. Victory is sweet when the strategy is one of mental as well as physical prowess. They used to, you ever seen a movie where they go through the field and stab all the wounded or, to make sure they're dead? That's to make sure they're dead. Opossum may be relying to you that you are to expect the unexpected. What have we all been saying? Expect the unexpected these next 2 months and be clever in achieving your victory. This could be a victory over a bothersome salesman or a nosy neighbor. In essence, opossum is beckoning you to use your brain. And use your brain, to use your brain, your sense of drama and surprise to leap over some barrier in your progress. So we've all got a lot of stuff coming at us. Now, this was not in the reverse, but I usually read it. In the reverse position, opossum may be warning you against getting caught in the high drama of your life's present scenario. Now, I think this sort of applies to us all actually as well. Close your eyes and dramatize. May keep you from seeing the truth of a situation. You may buy into melodrama in yourself or others. You might as well play dead if you are justifying what you are doing with a tragic victim routine. In other words, oh me, oh my, it always happens to me. I'm always the one to get over it. If this concept does not apply to your situation, take a look at the possibility that you may have recently been giving excuses for why you don't want to do something instead of telling the truth. In fearing to hurt someone's feelings, you may have trapped yourself in a justification pattern. Well, I might hurt their feelings. So I don't tell them. I'm too sick. I'm too poor. I'm watching my weight. I'm too short, tall, sad, busy, tired, etc. And having to defend yourself with excuses, you may have lost the point. You don't have to defend your right to be. You don't have to defend the right to be, or in other words, the right to exist. You don't have to defend it. The exercise is in learning to politely say that something would not be appropriate for you at this time. That's all. You owe no one an excuse. Think about that. Learn to imitate possum and play dead in the sense that the best strategy sometimes is no defense. In assuming the viewpoint of no defense, you have chosen the right to be who and what you are with no games involved. The proper use of diversion is to know when you do not need to use diversion at all. You owe no one an excuse for how you feel or what you choose to experience. Now, if you do something way off the charts, Lucy, you might have some explaining to do. Just saying. Now, the next other one they wanted me to do was a bat. And I don't know if I've ever chosen a bat. It's number 42. It's one of the last in the book. Not that that has anything to do with it. Bat. Sacred bat flew to me from the darkness of the cave. Womb-like reflections, answers it gave. Birth, death, rebirth, cycles of the whole, never ending, just eclipsed, the journey of the soul. Bat, number 42, is rebirth. Now, what did I just read about the snake? Oh my goodness gracious. Death. Anyway, steeped in the mystery and the Mesoamerican tribal ritual is the legend of the bat, akin to the ancient Buddhist belief in reincarnation in Central America. Bat is a symbol of rebirth. The bat has for centuries been a treasured medicine of the Aztec, Toltec, Tolkien, and Mayan peoples. Bat embraces the idea of shamanistic death. The ritual death of the healer is steeped in secrets and highly involved initiation rites. Shaman death is the symbolic death of the initiate to the old ways of life and personal identity. You got to leave that stuff behind. The initiation that brings the right to heal and to be called shaman is necessarily preceded by ritual death. Been there a couple of times. Most of these rituals are brutally hard on the body, mind, and spirit. Death 3 days on the river. The light of today's standards, it can be very difficult to find a person who can take the abuse and come through it with their balance intact. It took me a while to get over them 3 days, let me tell you. The basic idea of ancient initiations was to break down all the former notions of self that were held by the shaman to be. This could entail brutal tests of physical strength and psychic ability and having every emotional button pushed hard. You got to fall into that hole and fight them demons and then get back up. Taunting and spitting on the initiate was common and taught him or her to endure the duress with humility and fortitude. So what? Somebody, spit on you. You wipe it off and go on. The final initiation step was to be buried in the earth for one day and to be reborn without former ego in the morning. This ritual is very similar to the Night of Fear practiced by natives of the Turtle Island. In this ritual, the shaman to be is sent to a certain location to dig his or her grave. I was just thinking of grave, and you got it anyway. And spend the night in the womb of Mother Earth totally alone. I've actually done very similar things. With the mouth of the grave covered by a blanket. Darkness and the sounds of animals prowling quickly confront the initiative with his or her fears. Being in the ground with dirt all around you and it caving in was mine, but as the darkness of the grave has its place in this ritual, so does the cave of Bat, and I've been in a bunch of caves. Hanging upside down is a symbol for learning to transpose your former self into a newborn being. This is also the position that babies assume when they enter the world through the womb of the mother. If Bat has appeared in your cards today, it symbolizes the need for a ritualistic death of some way of life that no longer suits your new growth patterns. This can mean a time of letting go of old habits and of assuming the position in life that prepares you for rebirth. Snake, rebirth, the opossum, here, rebirth, here we go. This can mean a time of letting go of old habits and of assuming the position in life that prepares you for rebirth, or in some cases, initiation. In every case, Bat signals rebirth of some part of yourself or the death of old patterns. If you resist your destiny, it can be a long, drawn out, painful death. The universe is always asking you to grow and become your future. To do so, you must die the shaman's death. Now, contrary, which this was upright. If the bat is still hanging upside down in the cave and immersed in darkness, you have met its contrary medicine. This position leads to stagnation of the spirit and a refusal to acknowledge your true destiny. Some people are being like that right now, which is always to use the talents you have to the fullest. Is there some area of your life that has been dammed up and therefore stopped your desire to create? If so, look at surrendering to the death of the stagnation. So it's not death to you, or it's death to the stagnation. You say, okay, I've been in this rut long enough. I choose to do otherwise. Okay, death to the rut. Get out of it. Quit burying yourself and move on. But it can also imply that in the reversal of your natural cycle of rebirth, you are trying to go at life in a backwards mode. This is a breech birth, in a sense. This type of occluded understanding of how to go about freezing yourself can lead to a stillbirth if you struggle too long in the birth canal. Does that make sense? Spiritually wise. So I've seen some people who I say that they're like stuck in a loop. They start to learn something, then they go back and they start it over, and then they go back and they start it over. They're in a loop. So it's like they spend too long in the birth canal. The final outcome can be death of the body. Some people think themselves into a corner with obstacles that are illusionary. I think that people who believe that they are, being controlled by the Matrix are being controlled by the Matrix because they imagine they're being controlled by the Matrix. Choose not to be, and you aren't. It's as simple as that. Now, we can still be influenced, but being controlled or influenced, two different things. The final outcome be, let's see, by the time they decide what to do, the opportunities are gone and old age is upon them. Yeah, buddy. All of their dreams have passed them by. Reverse bat says to use your mind, your courage, and strength to ensure an easy labor and quick delivery into your new state of understanding and spiritual growth. Surrender to the new life you have created from thought and desire and bravely greet the new dawn. Now, we're all going to be greeting a new dawn. If what a lot of these ET folks are saying, it's going to be interesting. If you are concerned with the day and tomorrow, but not much further, you may forget to see further down the road. Tribal teachings say that you are responsible for future generations because you are the ancestors of the future. Whatever you do today will affect the next 7 generations. Every decision, every thought is to create a state of stagnation or rebirth for those that follow you on the good red road. If you are blocking yourself, you may be blocking the generations to come. That flies at night, and in the night are born your dreams. These are the dreams that build future civilizations, so nourish them well. I'm matrix free. Fox, everyone looked up to Saint Catherine something, the lily of the Mohawks. I think she was a living aspect of the goddess. There have been several, Fox. Unusual card. Yes, Teresa. But at the same time, what did Snake and me reading about Snake? Rebirth. We got to let go of the old, shed our skin, and we're reborn. And so out of all of these, the opossum, sometimes we have to just fake what's going on. But then we need to make the decision that to move ahead. And Bat's saying the same thing as, it's rebirth. So what was I talking about before I drew the cards? That if these energies and so forth are actually going to change our, let's say, our emotional state. So there are some people who are so freaked out and kill and die and kiss and violent, they won't be. They'll be more mellow. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So, I just had this weird vision of God taking this great big doobie and giving the whole planet a shotgun. See what I'm saying? Just like a big Cheech and Chong joint, and the creator is going to say, all right, y'all hold still. I'm going to give you all a shotgun. And everybody's going to go, what? Wait now. Wow. Yeah, cookies sure do taste good. Let's have another one, I think I really like brownies now, lactose intolerant. Oh my goodness. But milk and cookies are so good. Anyway. So, some folks would say, oh my God, you're blaspheming the creator. Nah, well, I was saying it would be like, not necessarily, but anyway. No, I've often said that, God or creator's got a sense of humor. Look at me, He put me on this planet for whatever reason. And I have done some silly, stupid stuff just to get people to laugh. And I got some other stuff coming up about this, the Blunder Games Part 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I got some crazy stuff that, man, the spiders around here. You guys, I'm sorry. All right. 2 out of 3. He won. A lot of spiders in the house for some reason. I mean, a lot. I mean, one just crawled across my arm and down my leg. About yay big. But at least he went on his way. Boy, they can sure travel fast. And, spiders, the spider webs, that's a whole nother story too. But anyway, my friends, I love you. I do. I sat down here to to do 30 minutes and it's been 2 hours again. And it's not because I don't like you. It's because I love you that we do this. But see, for me personally, the fact that I had to, yeah, thank you, Truth of Me. Yeah, the cards were spot on, weren't they? And you all see me doing this, so it's like I consider at times, well, let's put it, I'm humbled that I'm able to pull the cards that need to be said or need to be used or followed or however you want to look at that. And there are many times when I go, I really don't know why you guys put me down here to do this. And I really don't know why but I have faith in the message, faith in the spirit, faith in my spirit guide. Okay, guys, let's go, And for me, it continues to be a hurdle, because for me to just pull cards and go, well, okay, everybody, here's the message for today. Now you follow this stuff. Well, I don't do that. But I do say, you know what? It's interesting that there are these correlations to our life's journeys, which is affecting us all. And, the changes in the topics and the discussion for the day. I mean, it's like, man, if I'd have thumbed through the book, I couldn't have come up with better cards than I choose, quote, not necessarily at random, mind you. But it makes me feel very, very humble in that, man, we pulled them cards and this was and rebirth and holy crap. And that's what we're all facing is a rebirth, whether it's the fifth dimension or the fourth dimension or tomorrow. But, we need to, that was one of the things that was part of my mission. It's like if one person comes and hangs out or listens to a video, then that my Mother Mary vision was like, do it. If one person, but then that one person, if their life changes or their experience or their understanding of the universe, then that can be another generation. That can be, and then that generation. So in reading this about that and future generations, what we're doing right now can affect 7 generations in the future. So, and if you think back on maybe 7 generations, how we came out of World War II and how, how many generations has that been? A couple, right? And it seems like, it's all about innovation and it's all about, and people didn't even know what a dial phone was. And now they want to connect to this and that. And oh my God, they have lost their practicality. Well, they hit a button for an app. They don't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. Well, I want this and this and this and this. And somebody picks it out for them and then delivers it for them and leaves them with a great big cardboard box that now they got to get rid of. It's been good business for cardboard boxes. Just saying. I applied at a factory that made boxes. It's really cool how they do the bends and the folds. It's really cool. But anyway, and it's quick too. They can make boxes like 1 a minute kind of thing. I mean, at the end line, there's a box coming off like every 20 seconds. All folded up, and there you go. Another one, boom, another one, boom, another one. I mean, just that quick, cardboard boxes. And as fast as they could stack them and bundle them and carry them off with a tow motor. But anyway, so people are being, with all of this stuff and plastic bags. Yeah, that too. I've been finding ways to use the plastic bags. So, but to the point, yep. And I've been complaining about plastic for years. I haven't done a plastic thing for a while, but, I was on such a tirade about plastics and the miniatures and so forth. And, people, I noticed that in one of the commercials on the internet, There's some guys who have innovatively, and I thought about a very similar design years ago, but I was like, I don't have the money to make this. I don't know who I'd talk to about it, but they actually made one. And it's basically a boat with a skimmer. And it goes in and it picks this stuff up and drops it off, and then the blades go back underneath and it does it over so they can go through piles of garbage, lift it out, and drop it in a container that then, when it's filled, can be changed out without having the boat go back to shore. They just change the container out, which I think is ingenious. And that was one of the issues I was having. It's like, well, I can get it into the boat, but then once you fill it up, then what are you going to do? But anyway, so these guys are doing a really good job, and you can do this, and they're selling their designs and so forth. But for, down in the swamps and stuff, that's impractical. But there are people, and I was like, man, that design is so close to the one that I had come up with. But I don't care if I get the credit. I'm glad somebody's finally doing something about it. So, but it's a matter of, does anybody want to do it? So there are individuals that are coming up with local river groups and bays and so forth who are buying this stuff or building it themselves in order to clean the plastics and other garbage and stuff out of the bays and inlets and rivers and so forth where they can get them, and clean up this mess. Good for them. Good for them. It's not big business. It's private individuals forming these small little groups. For example, I don't know if they're doing it, but it would be like, I grew up in Tampa. It would be like there's some ecology folks around Tampa that bought up some property that got turned into some parks and wetlands, which is a good thing, I think. And, so a group like this on a local level could invest in something like this with a bunch of people putting in money and volunteers going out on the weekends or whatever and floating these things, out on the water and picking up garbage and doing something for the ecology and for the planet, So and instead of nothing being done by the big folks, small folks are picking this up and doing it. I think that's great. We need more of that. So can we do something about it? These two guys did and are doing something about it and are promoting it. And now they've got little internet ads. And if I could help them out, I would, but it's like, I'm going to cheer them on at least, So anyway, we have an effect on this planet. And if we ever get to the point where we're worrying about, am I of value? Just say yes. But we can be of more value. And sometimes it's just a prayer. The other night, Fox was feeling a little out of it or whatever. We all got in here and sent a prayer. Teresa had a headache. We sent some prayers. The other folks, we send prayers. We send our energy. We send our good intentions. We do make a difference. So, my friends, I'm thirsty. I'm going to have to pee shortly. And I do have, Michelle, a butt cramp. I swear there's a song coming. I'm trying to get my stores around here. Do not charge for bags during the lockdown, but now they are charging for them again. Makes no sense. It really doesn't make any sense. Intention is everything. At least a good portion of it. You folks are great. You folks are great. I don't know how else to put it. Ice Station Z, night, yes. Michelle, butt cramp boogie, yes. Teresa, thank you, Zed. It's good to see you around and still out there. Prayers to all of you. So I will close, as always, with prayer, and I really do mean it. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept, receive the knowledge and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to accept, receive, and to share the wisdom, the knowledge, and the healing from the universe as you receive it and share it. I continue to pray, as the law of three, that each and every one of you will continue your journey to accept and receive the knowledge and the wisdom from the universe, and that you continue to share it, and that you continue to reject the chaos and the craziness that is around us all the time. As we keep being showed by the cards, Possum is saying there's always a way out. Sometimes the best defense is no defense at all. Sometimes we just let it go. If there's a, something in our, sometimes we just need to step to the side of the road and let that ambulance go by without getting run over by it, and then we continue our journey. You attract what you are, says Truth. Thank you, Michelle, and to all of you, much love, and BOV, be of value, my friends. And remember, vote in person. It's catching on. I'm just saying. So thank you, my lovelies. Continue to be blessed. I know it's going to be tough. Each one of us is going to experience some tough things ahead. There's no joke about it, but we can get through it. We can. One way or the other, we're going to make it. So, my friends, until next time, Zed, Teresa, Michelle, as always, Delaney, if you're still back there in the background, and Fox, thank you as always. And I know I've missed a few of you, but anyway, I love you. Time for me to go. Yes, and Ween. Thank you, Bob, for allowing this to happen. Hope everything goes well. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, this Ween's got a beep. Blessings to you, Fox. Thanks for being around, Fox. It's nice to have a Dante associate hanging around in the neighborhood. Thank you. And Jody, when he's around also. But to everybody, thank you, my friends. There is a bigger war going on. Keep telling the angels thank you. We love them for what they do and for all of the, all the stuff they're going through on our behalf. So tell them thanks, will you? And we honor you. All right, until next time, TFN, and cheers from South Georgia. Till next time, bye.